Now, CJ, in the aftermath of the horrific shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota by a trans-identified gunman, you highlighted just how far that state has fallen. Let's have a quick look at the leadership from Minnesota and their obsession with trans activism. Here is the Governor, Tim Walz, who famously put tampons in boys' bathrooms across the state.
Minnesota ranks the highest per capita for being a safe haven for transgender individuals in Minnesota.
Let's hear from the Mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for undocumented immigrants, for our trans community.
And here is the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison, bragging about suing the Trump administration over trans surgeries.
We'll sue them 44 more and 44 more after that. And we have sued them for gender-affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
And finally, the Minnesota Lieutenant Governor, she may be the most unhinged of the lot.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
CJ, I've got to ask, what is going on in the once great state of Minnesota?
You know, it's been hijacked by the woke mind virus. And I think every single video that you just played is an example of that. You know, for the LG to say, you know, when our children tell them who they are, we should believe them, affirm them, all of these things. Probably told my mom that I was a fire truck growing up, but she didn't take me into the auto shop for an oil change. And thank God for that. Here's the deal, you know, all the folks are talking about all these trans issues, this and that. They make up less than a percentage of the total population. Talk about jobs, talk about protecting your communities, talk about actually stopping these mass shootings from happening, not by taking away guns, but actually addressing the mental health crisis in this country, of which transgenderism is a byproduct of. There's all of these shirts that they want to wear saying protect trans kids. Yes, let's protect them from this idea that they should be mutilating their genitals before they're even 18 years old and old enough to vote and or do anything of any consequence on their own. It's absolutely shameful. It's just permissive child abuse. It's disgusting.
It is, and the tide has turned. Regular folks are now speaking out about this issue. For the longest time, it was almost taboo to state a mainstream opinion. It was like the 10% or 5%, whatever that activist group is, were dominating the discourse and making it unsafe for anybody else to actually state their opinion. That's changed, but has it really changed in those blue states? Are you seeing changes in places like California, New York and Illinois?
You know, I think people are slowly waking up because in a state like California, you know, people don't really want to talk about the trans issue when fires have burned down their homes, right? They want to talk about that. They want to talk about how they're actually going to have safe communities where they can actually walk their kids at night without the threat of being assaulted by an illegal alien. Those are the minds on the concerns of everyday people and Americans, which is why you're starting to see the tune of progressive politicians like Gavin Newsom change because they realize that they are in the losing of 80-20 issues. And so I think it's slowly happening. I don't think we're all the way there yet. The pendulum has not yet fully swung back, but I think that it is. And I think that's why so many people on the left are, again, changing their tune.
That's why I never even saw it as an 80-20 issue, because that 20%, so many of them never believed what they were saying. And that's why it's so easy for them now to change their positions. And Gavin Newsom is a very good example of that. CJ Pearson, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.